and once more, welcome to the A Bit of AI show. This show is all about the story from the people behind AI. Because Amy and me, in our job, we meet so many people from around the globe, and we realize that there are so many different skills needed in creating an AI solution. From pre sales and consultancy to creating the deep neural networks itself, and then finally running them in production. So, in this show, we invite people from all over the world that are professionals in the AI space to have a chat and talk about what they are actually doing. So, this week, we will find out what Vlad is actually doing during his day. So, we couldn't be more excited to get started talking to Vlad and learn more about what they do. But, as always, all the information and all the things, and also all the previous episodes, can be found on our website, abitofai.show.
I was going to say, and thank you to everyone who is at Codecamp who's watching. This is a new experience for us, being live at an event and being live as we normally stream to our normal audience. So to all those who are avid A Bit of AI show watchers, thanks for joining us again. And to all those who are new, as Henk very eloquently put, this show is all about the people who sit behind AI. However, this feels a little sort of one-sided. This feels like me and Henk are just kind of talking at you with our guests, but it is not. We always have something we call a cafe experience as part of the A Bit of AI show, but we're changing it up slightly for the Codecamp experience. So after this show, when we finish airing, you can join us in a cafe type experience at Codecamp. It's totally free, so go to codecamp.ro and you can go and find that extra experience session. The whole point of it is you come along, you can ask us questions, me and Henk as the presenters, you can ask our wonderful guest Vlad questions, but also to engage. We're really keen to hear your insights, because me and Henk get to chat to these people. We make up the questions, we make up the quick fire questions that we're going to do, but we want to hear from you. What is it that you want to ask our wonderful guests and ourselves? So go to codecamp.ro straight after this session completes, and you'll be able to chat with us there.
Perfect. And we forgot only one thing. So, I didn't introduce myself, and you also didn't do it. So, my name is Henk Boelman.
Wow.
I am a cloud advocate at Microsoft, and today I'm wearing a black shirt with a funny cartoon of me and a shirt with orange and yellow stripes on it saying, this side saying Pong. So, a good reminder of all the first Atari game we all played. And I'm streaming from my living room.
Oh, fabulous. You're in your living room today. My name is Amy Boyd. I'm also a cloud advocate here at Microsoft. And today I am I'm a white female with long blonde hair that's wavy. And today I'm wearing a light blue and black leopard print top. I tried to colour coordinate, as always, with our backgrounds. If you can see us, we have a wonderful logo. And I always try to colour coordinate a little bit. Henk, I would say you're doing a pretty good job too with the orange and yellows. I like it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm still blending in into the background because the rest is black. And
I
you
know, we
only
did
have
have a
like so
rule.
many.
You're breaking the rule
Yeah,
again.
yeah, but I only have like
Anyway,
so many not black shirts. But indeed, let's get Vlad to the screen because it is all about him today.
it's all about him.
Hello,
Hey
Vlad.
Vlad, how you doing?
Hi, Amy. Hi, Hank. I'm great. Happy to be here.
Good. We are very, very happy to have you. Vlad is an organizer of Codecamp, and so it only felt apt to have our guest today at Codecamp be someone who is an extreme part of it. So thank you so much for joining us. It's an absolute pleasure to have you on the show. But as Henk said, let's dive straight in. Everyone is here to hear about you. So tell us who you are and what you do in the space of AI.
Oh my. Well, I'm Vlad Iliescu. I work at Strongbytes, the head of AI. And yes, lately, to be honest, I have been very focused on the data engineering part of machine learning. Now, because you hear all the stories that machine learning, AI, it's so cool. You want to get into it, and then you get into it, and you notice that actually the problems you're trying to solve are around those models that you set out to build, right? You need to build data pipelines. You need to get data from 1,000 locations to one single store, and then be able to process it. So this is where I am currently. I'm really getting deep into the data engineering side of things.
That's so interesting. A lot of our guests from previous seasons, those who are new to the A Bit of AI show, we have a whole another 2 set of seasons with 20 guests that you can watch. And interestingly, data engineering continues to crop up. I feel like people are entering the AI space. You do the, oh, this sounds bad, the nice shiny bit of AI. And then you actually kind of realize that the basics, the bread and butter has to be there in order to be able to do this AI piece on top. But also, we want to move this stuff to production. We want this stuff to be real, and then data engineering being a key part of that. So it's so interesting to hear, as head of AI at Strongbytes, that you are very focused right now on data engineering. So that's yeah, super interesting. But Vlad, when you say I'm focused on data engineering, I'm head of AI, that's a big role by the sounds of it. Goodness me, a lot of responsibility there. All jobs in our industry look completely different daily. But if you were to describe what you could say as an average day, what do you do? And I'm not doing that in a sarcastic way.
No worries. I have to say I'm coding less than I would like to. So let's say I would, because yeah, a significant part of my day is handling communication and yeah, making sure everybody has what they need. Yeah, involved on the one hand in a lot of team calls. More sometimes there are so many team calls. But
Yeah.
also I get to do that some development, and I'm really grateful for that. But yeah, for me it's finding a balance between development and also amplifying the team, right? Because just one guy cannot finish a project successfully, depending on the project, of course.
Yeah. And how about the kind of strategy side of it? Because I guess as head of AI, you have to provide what's the focus, what's the strategy, what area are you focusing on at the moment in some senses for your team to be able to be their best, be successful? How do you find that part of it? How do you prioritize strategy in some senses?
On the one hand, we are rather lucky because since we're an outsourcing company, so we're helping multiple clients get their machine learning projects, as you said, live in production, up and running. So we also always take into account the customer's existing stack. So maybe one customer is deep into Azure. Then of course we're looking at Azure solutions and trying hard not to overcomplicate their setup, and yeah, picking the best technologies that help them succeed without yeah, turning into a myriad of multi-cloud solutions that's in the end really hard to maintain and also develop.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
completely
say
agree.
the main focus is on helping our customers succeed.
I love that. That's a good one. And I guess, yeah, customers being the North Star, how to account for what the customer needs, but obviously giving your advice as well. Your team must have a lot of perspective on different industries and different things they've done. Do you see that being passed on to the other customers that you share in a sort of a higher level way?
Um, Yes, of course. We're a very diverse team with, let's say, I'd say a mix of skills, right? So we also have, on the one hand, data engineering experts, but also on the other hand, we have some really good data scientists. So I find that this mix together yields the best results, because then we don't only focus on getting the best model that then we cannot put into production. We have this really great persons working together and bringing the best model into production, right? And yeah, making sure it works, and the customer is happy.
That's great setup there with it, having the success of a diverse team, right? And that we all have technical expertise, but we're always all learning as well. So I've asked you a lot about the present, what's happening right now, but Henk, you want to come at it from a different angle, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So you're saying head of AI. That indeed, Amy, that is a very big title. So
It's
how
maybe
did
too big
you?
a title for such a small man.
Uh, so I want to know how you got to be head of AI. So what did you study?
Mm.
What did you do during your work? And then how did you get to this point in your career?
Um, I'm gonna have to tell you a little secret, but promise you won't share. I'm extremely lucky. Like, sometimes it's surprising to me how lucky I get. So keeping that in mind,
Mhm.
I've 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 actually studied economic computer sciences, because I was too afraid of learning physics to go into a hardcore university. So I went
Yeah.
to the economic side, but that helped me also learn more about management, about yeah, how building products, and about the computer science side of things, and also a bit of AI, which I promptly forgot. So yeah, because it felt hard. It felt so hard, 16,
Mm.
20 years ago. But then I got into development, and a friend suggested C sharp. I was all, no, no, I will not choose Microsoft, Java all the way. But he suggested C sharp, and I realized I loved it way more than other languages, and started working with that. And yeah, developer, team lead, yeah, even technical director. Um, but then I realized at some point it just happened. I wanted to build a personal project. I wanted to classify my expenses in my banking exports, and I didn't want to do something manual. I wanted the computer to do it for me. So I went up and got interested more in machine learning again. It was hard for me 17, 20 years ago, but then more recently it became easier, right? Because we have a lot of great libraries, a lot of great components up there and begging us to use them. So I started doing that. I started with a personal project. I didn't finish it. I never finished those personal
Oh
projects that
no.
I use for learning. But it got me going, and then I became more interested. I started talking about machine learning. I'm also told you I'm really lucky. When preparing presentations for conferences such as Codecamp, I was forced to learn more about machine learning in order to be able to explain it to others and to answer their ruthless questions. Right, so I got more and more involved. I realized I'm enjoying it. I love Python. So it's up there with C sharp in my list of favorite languages, and gradually it all came together. It's not a recipe, so it's
It's
just
not.
but yeah.
Interestingly, I would like to pick out there is a pattern that is occurring between our guests. And one of the things that you just triggered me with was the personal project. That's what seems to get people into AI a lot. There seems to be, I have a problem and I want to solve it, and AI is a possible way that that problem could be solved. And so people kind of go ahead and start getting into it and then seem to get hooked a little bit into this area. And obviously, if you do that at the right time, as things growing, hopefully that can take you off onto an amazing career directory. So yeah, you say it's luck, but interestingly, it sounds like there's a lot of decisions that you made that really landed you where you were though as well.
It's more about stumbling and falling into things than meaningful conscious decisions, because I've worked on personal projects ever since high school. In high school, I would write games in Pascal and C++. So for me, this has always been a way to express myself and to do some interesting work, right? And for a while, I've done that using C++, Pascal, C#, JavaScript even. But yeah, now I've gotten to machine learning, and it's stuck more than others. So again, really lucky. I could have done something else.
Really nice story. That is a really nice story. So how long ago did you get into AI? Like how many years ago was that?
Not that long ago. So I'm gonna say around 6 years.
Exactly.
Nice.
That is also
So
a
it's
pattern. That is exactly kind of the thing when automated machine learning became available through interfaces, and when cognitive services were there first released. And that
Yeah.
actually
makes it a lot easier.
one of the first systems I've used in Azure for machine learning was the Azure ML Studio classic version. You know, the one with the drag and
Yes.
drop that you couldn't serial, you couldn't version control, you couldn't do a lot of things, but it was so easy to get started and get a web service up and running. I love that. Love that.
Yeah, and
I
understand
actually did some presentations in which I use this to solve Kaggle competition. So you would just drag and drop and upload data sets, but it was really effective. I loved it.
I'm
Yeah,
just
that
gonna
was
like fangirl you right now as well, Vlad, because you know this. Because I think every time we speak, I bring it up. But that automated machine learning session based on Kaggle is still to this day one of my favorite tech sessions. I don't know why it blew my mind so much, but it absolutely did. It's such a good one. So for those out there, I don't know, is it on YouTube or anything, Vlad?
it's
That
on the
session,
Global AI
possibly.
community channel. Yeah.
It's on the Global
Because
AI
it
Community channel,
was
of course.
yeah, because it was during that 24 or 36 crazy hour of streaming when the pandemic
Maybe I was
just
really
hit.
impressed because I was like delirious as well.
It's possible.
We
I'm
didn't check it out,
joking.
but
I'm
you can
joking.
find it back. Yeah, you can find it back if you
Yeah.
Google for Global AI community and then Kaggle competitions. It should show up on YouTube. There are not that many
Oh,
sessions that
amazing.
have that. Yeah.
No, and it was just so good. But Henk, not
Yeah.
everything is rainbows and unicorns in the space of AI.
No.
You've got to ask
No.
Vlad our difficult question.
Yeah. So you now have to tell us what your most annoying thing is about your role in AI.
I don't get to code as much as I'd like to,
Yeah,
but that's just kidding. I would say, and it's me annoying myself, that a lot of times I get really focused on building the best model, and it's like you have a data set, and you train a model, you evaluate it, and then you tweak something, and then you get a small percentage increase in your metrics, and you go yes, and you tweak something else, and then you get another small percentage increase, and you go double yes, and it's like playing the lottery. So it's a bit addictive. Just I'll run this one more time and just wait for 3 hours, and then maybe I'll get a 1% in there. And Andrew Ng was talking about this earlier this year, and he started talking about data-centric AI, in which we don't focus as much on the models like me and a lot of other people have used to do, but instead, focusing on getting better data, on getting better features, on understanding this, because in the end, I also get the feeling that models are becoming commoditized. As you mentioned, Hank, earlier, we now have a lot of great AutoML solutions, including the Azure AutoML one, which is one of my favorites. So then you don't need to worry as much about building the best model, about hyperparameter tuning, and I mean mostly for tabular data sets, but you can instead worry about building the best data set. And I think this is where we're heading. I'm fortunate, again, really fortunate to be living in this time where I don't need to write up a neural network from scratch or to implement any gradient boosted trees solution from scratch. I can just get a pre-made solution, and it will work, and it will work beautifully, little to no bugs. Really, really great. So yeah, I'd say that this is annoying for me, because my brain still wants to play the lottery, right? I want to tweak that one parameter to get me a 5% maybe boost, when instead I should focus on the quality of my data. So yeah, this is what annoys me, but I think that's just a problem.
I think that is
I
far the
appreciate.
most unique answer we had on this question.
Yeah, a
And,
very specific answer.
and very insightful.
Yeah,
So,
I liked it.
we all know what's up next?
I know. Vlad, are you ready? Because we have very quickly, in this case, our quickfire round of questions. So what is the quickfire round? The quickfire round is 5 questions where we need you to answer with either one word, one phrase, or one sentence. No more than that, if possible. These questions will tell us a little bit more about you, but will also, if you see other shows that we do in this season, we're finding a lot of patterns, but also a lot of really interesting insights from people from going through these questions. So Vlad, would you feel comfortable with doing our quickfire question round?
I'm terrified, but yes, let's do it.
Yes, good stuff. Everyone says that. They love it in the end. Cool. So let's get straight into it. We'll start with a historical one. So what was your first computer?
HC90. Can I add more details?
Yes.
Go on then. Yeah.
Because you probably don't know nobody knows what an HC90 is. It was a Romanian clone. So back in the 90s, someone was on a very famous TV show. But yeah, back in the 90s, we had some Romanian clones of the Spectrum machines. Like a big keyboard, like a Mac, but not like a Mac.
Yes.
Keyboard plus computer, to which you would attach a cassette player, and you would load all your applications off a cassette. So it's really funny to me when I see younger people get annoyed by a load time of 10 seconds for an app, when I used to wait for 10 minutes to just load it off a cassette. So yeah, that was and it ran basic. That was my first machine.
Interesting. Good one.
Yes,
Good
it
one. Thank
was
you for the
terrible, but
description.
I love it.
Next, what programming language was used in the last project you worked on?
I would like to say Python and C#, but the truth is it was SQL. It was data
SQL. There
engineering.
we go.
Yes, yes.
Throwing it out there for the pure
language,
data. I love it.
it never dies. You can do so much with it. so yes. I think
Fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the thing, right? The variety here is key. Question number 3. What is the most useful thing you've learned in AI?
people will believe anything if you tell them an algorithm said so.
Oh dear. There's good and bad to that. Take that with
No, but
an ethical hashtag on the end of that one. But yeah.
it's true. I mean, the more it's becoming, we put so much value in the words of algorithms, in the decisions there, that sometimes I feel, or at least in my case, I don't stop to wonder what else is there. A recommender recommended this. This must be it. This must be the solution. And yeah, I think this might become an issue in the future if it's not already. But yeah, that was one thing I've learned, and I try not to use.
Good highlight. I like that. I like the skew on that question. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think I know the answer on the next question. But what is your favorite event on the AI calendar?
Apart from the bit of AI show, you mean? Because
Yeah, a part of the bit
Yeah.
of AI
We
show.
just assume the bit of AI is in there. No.
precisely that's what I that's what I meant. I love your show. Apart from a bit of AI, there's also NDR. NDR is a conference that happens twice a year. Uh, it was in Romania, but now it's online, so anybody can join. And yeah, we have a host of great speakers. And if you're interested, you can check out the previous editions online. This is one of my favorites.
Love
Yeah, I
that.
think
And then our final question: what area of AI is on your list to skill up on next?
Great question. Forecasting.
Mm.
I'm
Oh,
getting
someone
more and
else
more
has said
interested
that.
in. Sorry.
Someone else has said that as well very recently, and it seems to be something it's not wildly new, but is there like advancements in that area recently? Then
Well, I don't know yet. That's what I'm trying to learn. But to be honest,
True.
I think it's a fascinating area. Just predicting the. I've always loved predicting the future. The butterfly effect. What if I tweak this button? What will happen in 5 years' time? So this regard forecasting, it's an interesting field. It's an interesting and fascinating field, and I'm trying to learn more about it.
Great
But
stuff.
not with a crystal ball, but with actual data.
Fabulous. Anyway, Vlad, we are actually out of time. Can you believe that we've spoke to you for pretty much 30 minutes now? Thank you so much for sharing both what you do right now, your insights, what you find irritating about AI, but also your path into AI for us. For just a few minutes to close up the show, we'll say goodbye, Vlad, but we will join everyone in our usual cafe experience. So if you go to codecamp.ro, you can continue to ask us questions in the chat there, and we'll answer them live very shortly. So Vlad, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Hank. You've been great. Thanks for having me. I loved it.
Oh, thank you. We will
see you
speak
in a
to you
bit.
very soon.
See you.
Henk, we are almost over already, but a couple of announcements. We have a cloud skills challenge. Henk, do you want to tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes, so we have a Cloud Skill Challenge running, and the Cloud Skill Challenge is a challenge where you can learn all about AI. So you go to ak.ms/abitofai/challenge. There you can join the challenge, and what you have to do is to complete 20 Learn modules. And these Learn modules take you through like a lot of different sides of the AI tools Microsoft has to offer. So you will learn about computer vision, you will learn about responsible AI, you will learn about automated machine learning, and yeah, there are lots of tutorials, and some of them you can even spin up some notebooks to do something really cool. When you've completed it, we will see it, and we will add those Learn modules to our counter. And for every Learn module you complete in this month of December, we will plant a tree somewhere of this planet for you. So go and complete it, because we want to have a bit of AI forest.
Yes. Oh, fabulous. That would be really good. If you want to complete the Cloud Skills Challenge, go to aka.ms/a-bit-of-ai/challenge to get started. Also, we are live at Codecamp today. Thank you so much for having us as part of this amazing event. But if you are new to Codecamp or you're at Codecamp currently, we did want to let you know that this isn't the end. It's not just today that this conference is happening. You can actually check out the festival Codecamp that will happen as a live event in May 2022. Loads of great speakers, stages, hopefully an in-person experience. If that sounds like it's for you, go to codecamp.io/the-festival to find out a little bit more. So thank you, Codecamp organisers, for having us. And with that, we'll say thank you so much for joining us today. We hope you've enjoyed the show, whether you're a regular or you are joining us as a new viewer. Catch all of our episodes from season 1 and 2 on demand at on our website. So go to abitofai.show. Do come and join us in our sort of cafe experience, but shaken up a little bit for the Codecamp live nature of it. So if you go to codecamp.io, you can continue watching us there and also engage with us and ask us questions. And we'll bring Vlad back on as well. So if you have any interesting questions for him, do that. But otherwise, thank you so much for watching. This has been the A Bit of AI show with Henk and Amy.
See you next week.
And we're back, I think.
Indeed. And we're back. Indeed. Our favorite words.
Hello.
And we're back. Okay. Will we have Amy and Hank back as well?
I strongly believe so. They should be getting in any moment.
Okay, because we've got some interesting topics that we want to address, to discuss. As you may guess, one of my favorite things, is the MLOps or ML for production thing. I've got a passion.
I know.
Actually, I've got a project where I need to sort some things out, and so that's why I'm raising this question. So, yeah, let's try to.
Yeah, I think you bring a very valid point, Florian, and I know it's an interesting project, to say the least. Hi, Amy.
Hello, how are you doing?
Hello.
Well, we're already tackling a very hot topic, which is ML ops or ML for production. So
Nice.
everything around this.
Oh no, that's great. And Vlad, I know obviously you were mentioning that piece, the kind of side of taking things to production, the data engineering side. Has MLOps been a big one for you as well? Hey, Hank.
Yes, it's been, and again, I think we're on let's say in an exploratory time, right? We have more and more tools that deal with doing MLOps for us, right? Because some years ago, it wasn't as straightforward as it is now, and now it's not as straightforward as it'll be in a few more years. But yeah, I think this is a really important part of the software development life cycle, to be honest, when dealing with machine learning, because machine learning brings some very interesting challenges, right? It's not as straightforward as just writing some code, throwing it in production, and it will just work, right? Because machine learning, you program it with data, right? If your data changes, if your data distribution changes, if you have a data drift or concept drift, then your models will not make the best predictions anymore. So then you need to monitor this and build the systems that monitor this. Make sure maybe you need to retrain your models. Maybe you need to drop some features or to add new features. So this brings the whole concept of the system outside the machine learning model to light. And yes, I think there are some great MLOps solutions out there. A shout out to Azure ML, which is my personal favorite. I think it's really it makes it really easy to bring a model to production. I wish it had a feature store. So if anybody,
That was my next question. So what is it offering to support the entire ML for production type of thinking, or and what's missing?
what is Azure ML offering?
Yeah. If you can briefly describe how does it support so well the entire process, or not so well? I don't know.
Well, I think it makes it really easy to, on the one hand, to train models, both on your machine and also in the cloud, right? Because sometimes you want to make quick experiments on your machine without starting a cluster, without starting a node, just a quick run on your machine. But then when you bring in the whole data set, which may not be a few megabytes, it may be a few gigabytes, then you want to run this somewhere else, not on your machine, right? So I find that it makes it really easy to run things in the cloud. It makes it really easy to coordinate workflows in the cloud, right? So you have the Azure ML pipelines that are basically acyclic graphs, which you can build and use and schedule. So I love them, and it also makes it really easy to encapsulate a model into, let's say, into a Docker container, expose it as a web service in the Azure infrastructure, or bring it to your own infrastructure if you want to run your Kubernetes cluster somewhere else, and it will just work. So I think this is great. It also what I've used in the past was model versioning. Yeah, so versioning, you want to be able to go back in time as much as possible, right? So you can version your models and your data sets. And fingers crossed, somebody will build a data store, a feature store soon.
How about the monitoring part, Vlad? Because monitoring is vital. I mean, without monitoring, you kind of don't know if your model is performing anymore.
Agreed. To be honest, I have not used this. I know there are some features related to this, but I have not used them yet. I'm shamed.
But you're going to start today, right? I mean,
yes, exactly.
Maybe we can think in terms of what would you need in terms of monitoring. Maybe.
Absolutely. So on the one hand, you would need to monitor. What I would monitor is the data sets. Assuming you retrain your model, right? I would monitor the distribution of the data to make sure the data isn't drifting. Like for example, what we have in Europe right now, right? The energy prices have dramatically increased. So let's say you were building a product that takes into account energy prices a year ago, and you would have some range, maybe 100 euros, 150, and now it went up to 400 euros. So if your model is used to this range of 100 euros, then it will not do a good job handling new data, right? So you need to monitor this. This is just an example, but you need to monitor this and build a system around this. And also, I would monitor the results the model returns when running in production, right? How much? What is their error rate? Yeah. I would calculate their metrics and compare their metrics to the metrics I've obtained when evaluating, when testing that model, right? So in order to see if they start diverging meaningfully. These are just a couple of things I would and I have built systems for.
Yeah, I'm asking because maybe sometimes we don't really put that much attention into this kind of topics, because we think like it's about the technical stuff and let's start implementing and seeing that it works. But we don't think about this kind of concerns, and we discover later that having them, having an eye on them, maybe it would have been a good feedback along the way. So yeah, thank you for your examples.
Do check out Azure Machine Learning Monitoring in the docs. So go to docs.microsoft.com and it can kind of list out some of the stuff. Data drift is a kind of a part that was kind of a little more new, but it's definitely there and you can take a look at. But at its core, the Azure Machine Learning SDK allows you to log. So as long as you can log anything, log all the things, we know what we're like, right, when we're trying to debug code. I don't know about you. I print statement everything literally to know exactly what it's doing. It's the same kind of thing. So if you want to log how quickly it's running, you can. If you want to log the outputs of the model, you can. If you are looking at logging in retraining, logging during deployment, stuff like that. Basically, it's at your fingertips. If you have a variable and you have that data for it, you can log it and track it. And then it shows up in the Azure Machine Learning sort of dashboard. So there's a nice visual way to compare the models over time and pieces like that as well. So yeah, monitoring is a key one, but as you said, massively overlooked. Vlad, as you mentioned in the show, it's not the bit of the pipeline that we're excited about, right? We're excited about making small tweaks to our models. That's the 10% that the AI dream sells, but realistically, that's just a very small part of a much bigger project. So yeah, monitoring is a really key one. It's a great shout.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and did you already try the new managed endpoints, because they offering like so many new cool features out of the box, because you like the model versioning, so you can now actually deploy models on different types of compute in like the same endpoint, and then use an interface to route traffic. So you will actually see with the built-in statistics what the response time of the model is, how it performs, and then you can dive into if the compute is like kind of fully used or not, and it can automatically scale for you. So, and it is just in one endpoint, which you can do now. So that is really cool for production workloads.
Yeah, and is there the A/B tested in that then? So because you mentioned that endpoint can be used on lots of different compute, can you then have different models on that and push some of your people to one model and some of your people to another?
Yeah, absolutely. So what I most when I use it, or when I demo it, because I'm demoing things at the moment, I have an Onyx model and I have a PyTorch model trained on the same data set, and then the PyTorch thing is converted to Onyx and then deployed on the same compute, so you can actually see which one is doing the best prediction and which one is actually faster. So you can
That's cool.
So you can pick your best model for production. So that's what you can also do with the out-of-the-box A/B testing. Now you have version 1 and version 2 of your model with the little tweaks. You steal like 10% of the real-world traffic, and then see if the model is better. If the model is better, then switch out and phase out the old one with just like a few sliders.
I know, and like we're all getting well overexcited about this in some senses, which is totally acceptable. But if there is just a developer watching, like an app developer, they won't be that impressed by that. Like that is legit software engineering at its heart, isn't it? Like a main part of deploying any application is the ability to have a version 1 and a version 2 with feature flags, and for you to push part of your audience there to see whether it's a good experience. Agile programming, agile software development. But I think in the AI space, it's been very much focused on bringing research to life. And then now, whether the movement is still happening, obviously, we're still pushing, there's still amazing stuff and breakthroughs happening in the algorithm space. But realistically, the process of getting these things to production and managing them seems to be actually the real focus of all different parts of the industry as well. I mean, we're talking about Azure specifically, but realistically, it's everyone is seeing the value in getting it to production and knowing that you can manage it there as well. Henk, you always have a really good conversation about build versus buy. And I always think the management part of why do you build something versus using a service for it. So computer vision as a service, text processing as a service, recommenders as a service sort of thing. The choice, a huge one in build, is whether you can manage the solution. Do you have the time, the people, the resources, the care and attention to be able to manage it? Or do you not want that on your plate, in which, pre-packaged AI might suit you a little bit better? So yeah, it's fascinating. The area is so vast now.
Plus, I think it's a really interesting and cool value proposition, because in the end, people will still gamble and want to build the best model to get those 1% gains, and anything that solves the other boring issues. Monitoring is a boring thing you have to do it, otherwise your system will not work. But it's not particularly exciting. Yeah, what's exciting is pulling the slot machine and see if you won. So any solution that moves this space forward and solves this for us is welcome with open arms.
But interestingly, you've just pulled up a really interesting thing, right? That you find the tweaking of the model and the gains, the exciting part. But what we're seeing from the A Bit of AI show is when we speak to people is people coming into AI now have a background in all sorts. So from the monitoring side, actually infrastructure engineers, DevOps engineers are now becoming ML ops engineers instead, and because they're focusing in on AI projects because they're exciting. Do you know what I mean? They're new, they're shiny. But it's something that they already have expertise in, and they're bringing that expertise to the AI area. And then that's the myth we're trying to bust on our show a little bit, that says everyone is a machine learning engineer or an algorithm engineer or something like that. It's not the case anymore in AI. In fact, it can't be. We've got to have all these different people with all these different skill sets. And Vlad, you mentioned, right, how diverse your own team is. Data engineering, algorithm experts. I'm sure you've got deployment experts and DevOps people and stuff like that. That's the team that's going to make possibly these things happen, realistically, and with expertise as well. I mean, some of this stuff is new for the AI space, some of it's different in the AI space, but realistically bringing in the expertise that people already have means people in the AI space can learn about other areas. I always call them like the sister areas or like the cousin areas, part of the family tree of AI. IoT is a sister area possibly to AI, or devices like low-level coding is a sister area to AI. Henk, you were just mentioning Onyx as a framework to get things onto devices. Our colleague Paul is huge in that area. He thinks less about tweaking the model. So Vlad, the bit that excites you, and he's more excited about how do I get models working on tiny devices outside in the elements where we can't always predict how things are going to happen. So yeah, it's such a broad area now. It really is fascinating. But that makes it daunting. Don't let that make it daunting. Like, pick your space, solve your problem, and go for it.
Yeah, really exciting what's happening in this space, and that we would have loved to continue the conversation. I think we don't have more time right now, but we're looking forward to organizing new sessions. So really, really keen to have you back at Codecamp sometimes in the near future.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we love the fact that, Codecamp was part of A Bit of AI, and A Bit of AI was in Codecamp. And I love this, synergies between communities and the way we function as engineers in the community. It's an amazing thing. Trust me.
We really appreciate you having the A Bit of AI show during Codecamp, and we'd love to do it again in the future, and vice versa. Let's have more people, any of your great speakers working in AI from Codecamp, if they want to come on our show, just put us in touch.
Absolutely, we'll do that, definitely. So, Amy, Hank, Vlad, it's been a pleasure. Enjoy the Christmas, enjoy the festive season, and see you next time.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you
Bye,
so
everyone.
much. See you
Let's
Bye.
later.
take a short
Bye.
break.
Bye.